I never believed in fate until the night. I walked into room 412 instead of room 414. My name is Marcus Thompson, and I'm a single father to an 8-year-old girl named Emma. That cold February evening, I was rushing through the sterile corridors of St. Catherine's Medical Center with my daughter's favorite stuffed rabbit clutched in my trembling hands. Emma had been admitted earlier that day with severe pneumonia, and in my exhausted state, I'd misread the room number the nurse had given me. The hospital smelled like disinfectant and desperation. My shoes squeaked against the polished floors as I navigated past the bustling nurses' station, past the flickering fluorescent lights that made everything feel surreal and dreamlike. I'd barely slept in 3 days. Between my job at the construction site and taking care of Emma alone, I was running on nothing but black coffee and fear. When I pushed open the door to what I thought was Emma's room, I froze. A woman lay in the bed, her thin frame barely making an impression under the white hospital blanket. She couldn't have been more than 35, with auburn hair spread across the pillow like a faded sunset. Her face was pale, almost translucent, and the machines surrounding her bed beeped in a rhythm. That sounded like a countdown. An IV drip fed into her arm, and the ventilator beside her bed hummed softly. But what stopped me cold were her eyes. They were open, staring at the ceiling, and they held such profound sadness that it physically hurt to look at them. "I'm sorry," I stammered, backing toward the door. "Wrong room." "Wait." Her voice was barely a whisper, hoarse and fragile. "Please don't go." Something in her tone made me pause. My hand rested on the door handle, and I should have left. I should have found Emma's room and forgotten this moment ever happened. But I didn't. "Are you okay?" I asked, the stupidest question in the world, considering she was clearly dying. A ghost of a smile touched her lips. "Do you have a few minutes? I know it's a strange request from a stranger, but She paused, struggling for breath. "I haven't had a visitor in 3 weeks. The nurses are kind, but they're busy. I need to hear another human voice, a real conversation, please." I glanced at my watch. The visiting hours would last another 2 hours. Emma was probably sleeping anyway. The nurse had said she'd been given medication. 5 minutes wouldn't hurt. "I'm Marcus," I said, pulling a chair closer to her bed. The vinyl cushion exhaled a soft sigh as I sat down. "Sarah," she replied. "Sarah Mitchell. Thank you for staying. You have no idea what this means." Up close, I could see the toll her illness had taken. Dark circles shadowed her eyes, and her cheekbones were too prominent. But there was still something beautiful about her, a light that refused to be extinguished despite everything. "What are you in for?" I asked, then immediately regretted the casual phrasing. She laughed, a dry sound that turned into a cough. "Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. They give me maybe 2 weeks. 3 if I'm lucky, which I haven't been." She gestured weakly at the machines around her. "This is just keeping me comfortable now. No more treatments. No more hope. Just waiting." The stark honesty knocked the air from my lungs. "I'm so sorry." "Don't be. I've had time to accept it." She turned her head slightly to look at me. "What about you? Why are you here with a stuffed bunny?" I glanced down at Emma's rabbit, having forgotten I was still holding it. "My daughter, Emma, she's 8, pneumonia. I thought this was her room. Is she going to be okay?" "The doctors say yes. With antibiotics and rest, she should be fine." I paused. "She's all I have left. Her mother, my wife, she died 4 years ago. Car accident, drunk driver." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "I'm so sorry, Marcus. That's terrible. You're raising her alone?" "Yeah, it's been hard, but she's worth every sleepless night." I surprised myself with how easily the words came. I never talked about Jennifer's death. Not with my co-workers, not with my neighbors, not with anyone. "She's lucky to have you," Sarah whispered. "A father who loves her that much." We fell into silence, but it wasn't uncomfortable. The machines continued their steady rhythm, and somewhere down the hall, a phone rang persistently. "Can I tell you something?" Sarah asked suddenly. "Something I've never told anyone?" "Of course. I'm terrified." Her voice cracked, not of dying exactly, but of disappearing, of leaving this world without making any difference, without anyone remembering I was here. "I never married, never had children. My parents died years ago. I have no siblings, no close friends anymore. When I die, it'll be like I never existed at all. The raw vulnerability in her words hit me like a physical blow. That's not true. You're a person, Sarah. Your life matters. Does it? She blinked, and tears rolled down her temples into her hair. What have I done? I worked 60-hour weeks at an accounting firm. I came home to an empty apartment. I bought things I didn't need and watched TV shows I didn't care about. I was so focused on climbing the corporate ladder that I forgot to actually live. And now I'm out of time. I didn't know what to say. What could anyone say to that? I'm sorry, she continued. You came here to see your daughter, and instead you're listening to a dying woman's regrets. You should go. But I didn't move. Something was happening in that room, something I couldn't explain. What would you have done differently? I found myself asking. Sarah closed her eyes, and for a moment I thought she'd fallen asleep. Then she spoke, her voice distant. Everything. I would have traveled, seen the ocean, fallen in love, had a family. I would have said yes to coffee dates instead of working late. I would have adopted that dog I always wanted. I would have forgiven my father before he died. I would have lived, Marcus. Actually lived instead of just existing. The beeping of the monitors seemed louder in the heavy silence that followed. It's not too late, I said quietly. You're still here. She opened her eyes and looked at me with such intensity that I felt exposed. Am I? Or is this just the epilogue? I stayed with Sarah for an hour that night. We talked about everything and nothing. She told me about her childhood in Vermont, about learning to ice skate on a frozen pond behind her grandmother's house. I told her about Emma's obsession with dinosaurs and how she insisted on wearing rain boots even on sunny days. For 1 hour, Sarah Mitchell wasn't a dying cancer patient, and I wasn't an exhausted single father. We were just two people, connecting in the strange intimacy that only strangers can achieve. When I finally left to find Emma's actual room, Sarah caught my hand weakly. Will you come back tomorrow? She asked. I understand if you can't. You have Emma to take care of. But if you could spare just a few minutes, I'll come back, I promised. And I meant it. Emma was sleeping peacefully when I finally found room 414. I placed the stuffed rabbit next to her pillow and kissed her forehead, thanking God that her story would have a different ending than Sarah's. But I couldn't get Sarah out of my mind. Over the next week, I visited Sarah every day. Emma was released from the hospital after 4 days, and I brought her with me to visit Sarah. My daughter, with her innocent wisdom, took to Sarah immediately. Are you Marcus's friend? Emma asked, climbing onto the chair beside Sarah's bed. I hope so, Sarah replied, her eyes lighting up in a way I hadn't seen before. Do you like dinosaurs? Because I know everything about dinosaurs. Did you know that the T-Rex had teeth as big as bananas? Sarah laughed, a real laugh that made the nurses peek in to see what was happening. I didn't know that. Tell me more. For the next hour, Emma monopolized the conversation, and Sarah listened with rapt attention, asking questions and gasping at all the right moments. Watching them together, something shifted in my chest, something painful and beautiful at the same time. After Emma fell asleep in the chair, Sarah turned to me with tears streaming down her face. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for bringing her. I never thought I'd experience something like this. She's wonderful, Marcus. You're doing an amazing job. She likes you, I said simply. She doesn't warm up to people easily. Not since her mother died. I like her too. More than I can say. The days blurred together. Sarah's condition deteriorated rapidly. The doctors increased her pain medication and she slept more often. But during her waking hours, Emma and I were there. We read her books, told her stories, and brought color into that sterile white room. One evening, when Emma was at her grandmother's house, Sarah gestured for me to come closer. Marcus, I need to ask you something. It's important. Anything. I've been thinking about what I said that first night, about leaving nothing behind, about not mattering. She struggled to take a breath. You and Emma changed that. These past 10 days have been the best of my life. You gave me something to look forward to, a reason to wake up every morning. You made me feel like I mattered. You do matter, Sarah. Let me finish, please. She reached for my hand, her grip surprisingly strong. I've decided to donate everything I have. My savings, my life insurance, everything. And I want it to go to you and Emma. Sarah, no. I can't. Listen to me. I have no one else. The money will just go to the state otherwise. I've already spoken with my lawyer. The papers are being drawn up. It's not a fortune, but it's enough to make Emma's life easier. College fund, better home security. Please, Marcus, let me do this. Let me leave something good behind. I couldn't speak. Tears burned my eyes. There's one more thing, she continued. I want you to promise me something. Promise me you'll live, Marcus. Not just exist, but truly live. Take Emma on adventures. Fall in love again. Take chances. Don't make my mistakes. Don't wait until it's too late to grab happiness with both hands. I promise, I managed to say. Sarah passed away 3 days later on a quiet Sunday morning. Emma and I were there holding her hands. Her last words were, "Thank you for seeing me." The funeral was small. Me, Emma, a handful of nurses from the hospital, and Sarah's lawyer. But it was beautiful. We buried her in a plot overlooking a lake, and Emma placed flowers on her grave. Is Miss Sarah in heaven now? Emma asked on the drive home. Yes, sweetheart, she is. Good. She was sad for too long. Now she can be happy. The inheritance Sarah left us was substantial, more than $200,000. Enough to change our lives. But more than the money, she left us something priceless: perspective. I quit my grueling construction job and went back to school to become a teacher, something I'd always dreamed of but never thought possible. Emma and I moved to a better neighborhood with good schools. We adopted a golden retriever puppy and named him Mitchell in Sarah's honor. But the biggest change came 6 months later. I'd started volunteering at St. Catherine's Hospital, spending time with patients who had no visitors. It was something Sarah had inspired me to do. During one of my visits, I met Rebecca, a nurse who worked in the oncology ward. She had been one of Sarah's nurses. I remember you, she said, smiling. You're the man who brought sunshine into room 412. We started talking, and that conversation turned into coffee, which turned into dinner, which turned into something neither of us expected: love. A year after Sarah's death, on the anniversary of the day I walked into the wrong hospital room, I proposed to Rebecca at Sarah's grave. Emma was there, grinning from ear to ear, holding the ring box. Do you think Miss Sarah would approve? I asked Emma as we drove away from the cemetery. Rebecca's yes still ringing in my ears. I know she would, Daddy. She wanted you to be happy. She told me so. When did she tell you that? The last day when you went to get coffee. She said you deserved all the happiness in the world, and that I should help you find it. We were married that spring in a small ceremony. Emma was the flower girl, and we placed a single rose on an empty chair with Sarah's name on it. She was there with us. I could feel it. Now, 2 years later, I sometimes stand in front of my classroom of 5th graders and marvel at how one wrong turn changed everything. How a mistake led me to exactly where I needed to be. How a dying woman saved my life by reminding me to live it. I keep a picture of Sarah on my desk at home. Emma drew it from memory, capturing her smile perfectly. Sometimes late at night I look at it and whisper, "Thank you. Thank you for seeing me too." Because that's what Sarah did. She saw me, really saw me, not just the exhausted single father, not just the guy doing his best to survive. She saw the man I could become if I just gave myself permission to hope again. They say everything happens for a reason. I don't know if I believe that entirely, but I do know this. Sometimes the wrong door leads you to exactly the right place. Sometimes strangers become angels. And sometimes, in the darkest moments, love finds a way to break through. Sarah Mitchell lived for 36 years, and she spent the last 10 days of her life teaching me how to truly be alive. She left behind more than money or possessions. She left behind a legacy of kindness, of connection, of reminder that every moment matters, and every person we meet has the power to change us. I didn't walk into the wrong hospital room that night. I walked into exactly the room I was meant to find, and the dying woman inside didn't just change my life, she saved it.